am a senior FICO certified Credit Life executive coach with Credit Life Financial Wellness Company out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I want to welcome you to Book Live, something I do every single Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, 5 o'clock Pacific time in the free credit repair advice group on Facebook. If you have not joined the free credit repair advice group yet, I definitely encourage you to join it. It's called the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, Fighting the Credit Bureaus since 2016. We've been doing this for going on, 7 years now? And we've got 72,000 members strong, and we have executive coaches, FICO certified coaches like myself, who are professional credit coaches, to give you free credit repair advice. So if you haven't joined the group, hop on Facebook and go to the free credit repair advice group, Fighting the Credit Bureaus since 2016. Now, I'm a 28-year veteran of the banking, the mortgage, and the credit industry. I'm FICO certified. And like I said, I do this every single Wednesday night with a different topic. So if you're joining me for the first time, I welcome you. If you are an old hat and you're used to coming to my lives, thanks for coming. It's great to see you again. And if you're watching this on a replay, I'm really glad that you found us. And if you're enjoying what you see, throw a like, follow, subscribe on all the different formats that we do this on. Now, I'm going to give the room just 1 second to fill up here so that we don't miss anyone. I'm going to go ahead and pin this to featured in the free credit repair advice group too for everybody. And so tonight's topic, okay? Last week I did how to repair your credit from top to bottom. How to repair your credit from top to bottom, all right? And today we're going to talk about the credit repair letters that are used to repair your credit. Now, some of you out there have probably heard this the term credit dispute. How many of you, give me some likes, give me some thumbs up, and if you're watching this on rerun, go ahead and do it. I'll be back answering questions in the comments and stuff like that, but give me some likes, give me some thumbs up if you have ever heard the term dispute letter or credit dispute. Other people call them investigations, okay? There are credit repair letters, credit improvement letters, credit dispute letters. Sometimes you've heard things like 609 letter or 613 letter, or all these different types of letters. What everybody is talking about is written correspondence that is used for you to exercise your consumer rights with the credit bureaus. I'm going to do a super fast recap on what I taught last week. There are 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They get the info on me, all of you, 350 million people. They get it from 20 sources on average per person per month. That's 20 times 350 million times 3 bureaus. Look, they cannot and they do not verify any of it. And that sort of sucks because major life decisions are made about you with this unverified data in a credit report. So because that's not terribly fair, there were some laws put in place, consumer protection laws, to protect you. The main one being the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. What the FCRA does is it allows you to say to the credit bureaus, hey guys, prove it or remove it. Prove it's mine, prove it's real, prove it's accurate and factual and current, correct, verifiable today, or I demand you delete it. So that's what I talked about last week. If you want to see the video, it is in the media section of the free credit repair advice group, or you can find it on YouTube on our channel, Credit TV. So this will be a sequence. This is kind of step 2 in it. So tonight I'm talking about the letters. There are lots of ways to dispute items on your credit. You can do it online, you can call them, you can send them paper letters. You can even use an app like Credit Karma to do it. But there's only one way to do it right, and that is to do it in writing. There's a reason you want to send letters, old school snail mail paper letters. You're trying to paper trail this stuff to make your case that things should be deleted. So you're going to use paper. That makes sense. But also, if you use any sort of electronic format, digital format through an app, you're going to give up some of your consumer rights. So at the end of the day, no matter what you do, you want all your investigation letters, your dispute letters to be written. And that brings us to today. So we're going to talk about some different types of different letters. Okay, someone said, Cheryl said, the letters are fantastic, but why do people go for pay to delete right away? Cheryl, the answer is because they don't know better. They don't know that going for a pay to delete can do things like trigger a lawsuit. They don't know that 90% of collection companies do not do a pay for delete. And if you do a pay for delete, you are basically saying, hey, I'll pay you all this money if you'll delete it from my credit. So you end up paying full price plus any whatever that's happened along the lines on that account. Where if you do investigations, you get it deleted from the credit profile, you can then call that creditor up and say, hey, would you take 30% on this, 40% on this? I know you say, oh, you $1,000, but if I give you $400 right now on the phone, would you accept that? We'll call it settled. And they'll go, yeah, because they don't think they're getting any other money from you because they never have. So pay for delete, while it can be good, it's never the first step. The first step's always to investigate. Good question. Cheryl. Okay, so we're going to go into some different types of letters. The most basic form of dispute letter, or the most basic form of investigation letter, and by the way, dispute and investigation can be used interchangeably here. I like to call it investigation because I'm not going to dispute that something that's yours that you recognize on there is yours. I'm not going to look at my credit if there's something negative, go, that's not mine, because it's mine. But what I'll say is, look, I'm not saying it's not mine, but I'm saying I have a right to investigate that, to verify, validate, and document that it's accurate, factual, current, correct, and verifiable as of today. So as we talked about in the last video, the first thing you need to do is get your hands on a credit report. I talked about two ways. One I'm going to show you right here. You want to look up annualcreditreport.com. You're allowed one free complete credit report. It doesn't have the scores, and it's a pretty tough read, but you're allowed one a year for free. The other place I like to recommend, and the service that I recommend to people, is a good credit monitoring service, because if you're repairing your credit, you want to see what progress you're making and what changes have happened. I recommend Smart Credit at smartcreditvip.com. But whichever way you go, you got to get your hands on a credit report before you do your first investigation letter. Now you've gone through, you got your credit report. You've printed it out like I've told you in the past to do, old school snail mail, right? Snail or old paper. I'm old. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to know the difference between doing this digitally and doing it on paper. And on paper is a lot more effective because it's easier to identify these things when you're trying to compare notes. So you're going to identify everything that's wrong, everything that's questionable, everything that's negative. Those are going to become the subjects of your dispute, the subjects of your investigation. Now I'm going to share screen, and I'm going to show you the first type of investigation letter that we'll be talking about here. So I am going to bear with me while I play with technology. Look at that. Look at that. I'm down in the corner. I'm still here. I just got tiny. I'm in the corner. So the first thing we're going to talk about is a basic bureau dispute, a bureau investigation letter. This is a bureau one, meaning you're going to send it to Equifax. You're going to send it to Experian. Equifax, Experian, you send it to TransUnion. Are you going to send this to Midland Collection because they've got your collection? No, that's a different type of letter. Okay, we're sending this to the credit bureaus. Now, when you do it, you're going to do one letter per bureau, one for Equifax, one for Experian, one for TransUnion. But Jeremy, I've got 5 negatives on TransUnion. That's fine. You're going to put all 5 negative, lines on there and investigate all 5 at the same time in one letter. So you're going to send 1, 1, and 1. Now, looking at this thing, at the very top, obviously, you can take out what, the title. You don't have to tell them what the title is. But you go ahead, the things in red, these are what are customized, right? And you're going to put your date, the date you're making the letter. You're going to put your name, your full name, legal name. You're going to put your address, your current mailing address, city, state, and zip code. You're going to put the name of the credit bureau, Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion. You're going to put the bureau address, city, state, and zip. And if you need the addresses, you can find them in the files section on the Free Credit Repair Advice Group on Facebook. Now, this is as simple as this letter is going to be. This is a good first round letter. To whom it may concern, I've just reviewed my credit report and have noticed there are several items on my report that I am requesting that you investigate per my legal rights under the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Now, have you noticed we didn't say, I'm disputing this? I'm saying it's not mine, because they have to come back with very little info to prove it's yours. And then it stays on there and you've wasted time. No, you're saying I'm exercising my rights. Now, the first thing you're going to put on there, the red, this is where you'll change it from what I've written. You'll put the first account name. Let's say the first account name is Capital One, okay? And the Capital One, you had a 30 and a 60 and 90-day late. It went to charge off. It eventually became a collection. Or maybe it's still with them, but it was negative. So you would put the account name, Capital One. You're then going to put the account number. Now, on most credit reports, they will only give you the last 4 digits of the account number and some X's. Go ahead and put as much account number as has been provided to you on the credit report. And then we're going to put something that we want to investigate, right? So in this example, we're saying, please verify that the account number and the date of last activity are accurate as you report, or I demand that you, and we're going to pick one. Maybe you've got a Capital One or a First Progress, or maybe you've got an Open Sky credit card, a Self credit card, and you had a few 30-day lates, but the rest of it's good. So maybe you're going to say, I demand that you delete all late payments from the account. Or if it went to charge off, there's no way to making that good, right? If it went to collection, or if it is a collection, there's no way to making that good. So you might say, demand that you delete the account. So you're going to pick one of these two things, and then you're going to say, from the report. So that's your first item. That's your first negative thing. So you're going to go through and identify the negative accounts. Now, you're going to repeat this action in this letter with up to 10 different accounts. But Jeremy, why can't I do 11? If you do more than 10 accounts on one letter, the Bureau will deem your letter as frivolous, and they will send you back a response saying, you've made a frivolous inquiry, we don't have to do it, and they won't do it. And you've just wasted time and a stamp and all that, and you've got nothing going on. So you're going to do that. First one might be Capital One. Next one might be Discover. The next one might be LVNV Collection Agency. The next might be my bankruptcy or my foreclosure or my whatever you've got on there. But you're going to do up to 10 things. Now, Jeremy, do I need to ask account number and date of last activity? No. But you're only going to want to ask about a maximum of 2 aspects of the account per account. Because if you go, I need the date of last activity, prove it was 30 days late, prove the account number's real, prove it's mine, prove it's this. If you do that all for one, they're going to deem you frivolous and not do your round of investigations. And they are well within their legal rights to do so. So you're going to do no more than 2 aspects. Jeremy, what's an aspect? Account number is an aspect. Date of last activity is an aspect. Balance is an aspect. The correct address for the account is an aspect. The correct name on the account is an aspect. Was I 30 days late or not was an aspect. Date of opening was an aspect. If the account status is opened, closed, in collection, charge off, or whatnot, that's an aspect. So you're going to pick 2 aspects of the account. Which one should I use first? Use the ones I gave you. You can use any of them, but pro tip, use the ones I gave you first. So you'll pick any 2 on up to 10 different accounts. You're going to put that on there. You're going to repeat it with 10 different accounts on each letter. Now you'll see it says, I have enclosed a copy of my driver's license, social security card, and utility bill as proof of identity, social security number, and residence. If you do not include those, you might get a letter saying, hey, we think this might not have been filled out by you, and so we're not going to proceed. It's a stall letter. Basically, they're saying, we think you hired a company to do it, or we think some other thing. Basically, there was no ID docs in there to verify that you are indeed you, that that's your social, and that that's a safe address for them to mail results to. But do I really want to give them that? Yes. Is it safe to give them that? Yes, they already have your social. They had it before you ever had a conversation with them. They knew your address before you had a conversation with them. Okay, these are data brokers. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, they're credit bureaus, but they're private companies. It's like Nike, Reebok, and Adidas. So I've included a copy of my driver's license, social security card, and utility bill as proof of identity, social security number, and residence. Sincerely, you're going to put your full legal name, your social security number, and your date of birth. Now, below it, you see where it says attached to this letter, you're going to attach 3 things. A copy of your driver's license or your state ID, your photo ID. A copy of your social security card. And if you do not have your social security card, use the front page of last year's taxes because it's a federal document with your social security number on it. And then a copy of a utility bill or a bank statement or a voided check or a cell phone bill, something that is showing the current mailing address on it. Now you are going to take these things, these 4 pieces of paper, this beautiful dispute letter, this investigation letter that you typed up, you're going to put it with those 3 copies. You're going to fold it up. You're going to put it in an envelope. You're going to put a stamp on it. You're going to address it, put your return address on it, and you're going to send it in the mail. But Jeremy, I heard that I have to send it certified. I got to send it certified with a signature. Okay, you're sending it to a P.O. box. When you find me, the post office box that'll jump up, grow some frickin' arms, become sentient, and sign its name, you let me know because I've got to run to my bug out spot out in the woods for my survival cabin because the robot invasion has started and Skynet has become self-aware, right? You don't have to send it certified. The only time to send it certified is when you're building a court case. And currently, this is not what that's for. We're doing investigation letters. Currently, that's not what you're doing. So I like to use a stamp so you don't waste money and you don't, aggravate the sentient post office boxes. I don't know. All right. So that is a bureau dispute letter. I'm going to stop that screen share and I'm going to close out that window. I'm just going to take a peek in the free credit repair advice group. All right, we're doing it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. Questions, I'll be answering them live right here for you. But I'm going to show you now. That is the letter, the investigation letter that you're going to send to the credit bureaus, to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, you may have heard of a second kind of letter. There's a name of that letter floating around out there pretty popularly that people say, you want to send a 609 letter. Send a 609 letter. What's a 609 letter? Okay, a 609 letter is a letter that goes directly to a third-party creditor. So this doesn't go to Equifax, to Experian, or to TransUnion. This sucker goes directly to Midland Collection Company, to Portfolio Recovery Services, to LVNV, to the collection company. Is there a particular area to dispute incorrect addresses and names? Yep, I'll get to that in a little bit. So this next letter, a 609 letter, isn't really an investigation letter. What a 609 letter is a validation letter. You're saying, show me stuff. When you're doing an investigation letter, you're saying, hey, Equifax, hey, Experian, hey, TransUnion, you're saying this. We need you to go back and verify it. And they go back to the creditor, verify or don't, and they come back and then they do their response. They're verifying the data that they've already got. This one, a 609 letter, we're asking for validation, okay? And so we're going to do a little share. All right, I'm going to share the screen. And we're going to show you what a 609 letter looks like. So a 609 letter is going to be the one that you send to the collection agency. Now, you're not going to put the title 609 letter on there, but you can. Oh, by the way, who knows what 609 comes from? Who out there knows what 609 comes from? If you think you do, lock in your answer in the comments section while you're watching this, if you're watching it live or even on reruns. This is a quiz. I want you to lock it in the comments section. Who knows what it is? Okay, here's the answer. It's called a 609 letter because it comes from subsection 609 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. It comes directly from the law. All right, got another little question here. Hold on 1 second. Why do old accounts keep popping on my credit report, then come off? I will talk to you about that right after the 609 letters. I can tell you exactly why. So the 609 letter. When you want to start this out, you're going to type it up. You're going to put in the date, today's date. You're going to put in the name of the collection company. Could be Midland, could be LVNV, could be Portfolio Recovery, could be anywhere. And Sasan, it's great to see you're watching on LinkedIn. That's awesome. By the way, if you have not yet come to the free credit repair advice group on Facebook, it's called the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, fighting the bureaus since 2016. Go ahead and join this. No cost. There's 72,000 people in there, and we've got FICO certified credit coaches like myself who will answer your questions. A little plug for the group. It's fun. All right. So you're going to put two. You're going to put the name of collection agency, LVNV, Midland, whomever. The address of the collection agency. Where do you get the address of the collection agency? You get it down on the bottom of your credit report, the one that you get from Free Annual, or if you've got my800credit.com or smartcreditvip.com, it'll be on the end of that. So you'll be able to find their mailing address. So you're going to put the address there, and then you're going to put the account number. Now you're going to put the account number that they're reporting, whatever goofy number they got in there, that's what you're going to use. If there isn't one, put NA for not available. You're then going to put from, your name, full legal name. You're going to put address, your address. Now, here's something weird. You're going to put a delivery confirmation number. I like to use 16 of them. You're actually going to make up a number. This is what in poker is called essentially a bluff, but it makes it seem more serious. So you're doing it in writing and you're putting a delivery confirmation number. Basically, that in an origami class lets them make a swan out of your letter. But for some reason, we have found over time, it's a pro tip, that putting a delivery confirmation, I like to put numbers of old girlfriends in there, but putting a delivery confirmation number, for some reason, scares them. So, let's be scary. All right, so what you're going to say is, dear collection agency, pursuant to the FCRA, that's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, and the FDCPA, that's the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, that's a discussion for another night, I now exercise my lawful right to question the validity of this debt that your agency claims has come due. Now, you're not saying, yeah, I owe this money and prove it. No. You're not admitting you owe it. You're saying that I'm questioning the validity of this debt that your agency claims has come due. Now, Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 609, and that's why it's a 609 letter, disclosures to consumers, subsection T2E. A consumer report, and by the way, this video will be available again to watch afterwards, so you don't have to memorize this. You can watch it again and write it down. A consumer reporting agency is not required to remove accurate derogatory info from a consumer's file unless the information is outdated under Section 605 or cannot be verified. Now, Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 611A1, you're going to use this exact data. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slowly put it on the screen. So when you guys watch this back, you can pause and write down all the info. And then we're going to talk about validation of debts. If the consumer notifies the debt collector in writing, they have to prove it. Okay? According to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, your company is required by federal law to verify through physical verification. Okay? This is different than verifying. This is validating. Okay? If you say, I demand to see a copy of the verifiable validated proof, an original consumer contract with a wet ink signature on it. Copies of copies are not validation by law and not considered proof that you have on file for the account listed above. So instead of a result letter coming to you from Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion that lists all the things that says deleted, remains, corrected, whatever, you're going to get a packet of stuff back from them. Now, they may just send you a bill and say, there, validation. A bill's not validation. So there is a follow-up. We're going to do that on another letter, but this is to get you started on your credit repair. And by the way, a lot of times these are one and done. All right, not considered proof that you have on file for it. Under the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, unverified invalid accounts must be removed, and that's federal law. If you are unable to provide me with a copy for the verificable. It's copy pasted from the law. Validated proof that you have on file within 30 calendar days from the receipt of the notice. So I don't read this out loud. Often I usually just send it in writing. For the account listed above, then you must at once remove the account from your name's credit reports. I demand the account be verified and validated or removed immediately. The law is very clear as to the civil liability and the remedy available to me for negligent noncompliance if you fail to comply with this federal law. Sincerely, your name. Now, unlike this one's kind of mean. I demand, I demand, I demand. Wouldn't I get further if I said, please, can you, make, no, you only get further in this because that's the correct language to use on this. I demand, I demand, I demand. Sincerely, your name. Now, at no point in time did I ever say signature. You are not going to put your signature on it. You are not going to put your signature on it. And don't forget, you're not going to put your signature on it. You are going to type your name. You are not going to include anything else in the envelope. No IDs, no social security number, no copy of address. Because when you call a collection company or they call you, they always go, "This is a recorded line and attempt to collect the debt. Anything you use might be used against you in court of law." Well, that's Miranda. You get what I'm saying. We call it the mini Miranda. It's the, hey, we're recording this for quality assurance, and then they say this is an attempt to collect the debt. Any information we gain will be used, in an attempt to, satisfy that debt. So you're not going to give them extra stuff. You're just going to put your name. Now, the other one, remember I said verification letters. How do we send them? Regular U.S. postage with a stamp. Validation 609 letters. How are we going to send them? Certified with a return receipt. But Jeremy, that's like $6. Yeah, you're not sending out a lot of these unless you're really in the hole. And then, well, you got to do it anyway. You're going to send it certified with a return receipt because you will have proof of when they received it, proof of when you mailed it, proof for the 30 days, proof if they don't follow up in time. You'll have proof, 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 proof. Because if they don't follow up in time, there may be a Fair Debt Collection Practices Act or a FDCPA or an FCRA, a Fair Credit Reporting Act violation. And if that happens to you when you do this, contact me in the group and say, Jeremy, this happened to me. They didn't verify or validate, and I have the return receipt and all those good things. And I will put you in touch with one of my network of attorneys that do that sort of law. And you may end up making money instead of just getting it deleted. It's good stuff. All right. So that's the 609 letter. So we did the investigation letter. That goes to the bureaus. We did the 609 letter, and that goes directly to the creditors. Now, I want to answer the question I was asked. You've been very, is it Sasana? You've been super, 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 super patient. I love you for it. Okay, so why do old accounts keep popping on my credit report and then come off 10 plus years after close? My credit score has been up and down by 80 points these last couple months. Number one, I would want to do a quick credit review on your report to give you more insight. But my guess is these things are being bought and sold. These are zombie debt. If they're 10 plus years old, they're outside of the statute of limitations. Collection companies, if they don't collect on a collection, a lot of times they will pile it together with about a bunch of other collections they didn't collect on, and they'll sell it to another collection company. And that collection company, if it's within the statute of limitations to report, which is 7 years and up to 180 days from the date of first delinquency on the account. So not when the collection company got it, but when you went bad in the first place. 7 years, 180 days from them. They lump them together into a portfolio and they sell them off to other companies. Not all companies follow the law. What you get sounds like zombie debt. They may have illegally re-aged the debt, which not only is more than enough reason for it to be off your credit, but it's actionable. Okay. There's a lot of things that could happen. Also, if you've ever disputed online or investigated online, I say you got to do this in writing, got to do it with letters, got to do it in writing. Here's one of the reasons why. If you do it on Credit Karma, or if you do it right through, Experian app or whatever, if you do the investigations disputes online, you give up a number of your consumer rights. One of the nastiest ones you give up is permanent deletion. So instead of getting deleted from the report, it'll say removed. You may have seen that happen if you've disputed online report, it comes back, it's been removed. That's not deleted. Removed is suppressed. They just removed the mark, but they didn't stop the floodgates, right? And so the very next time that company reports, like let's say it's Midland. Midland's one of the biggest collection companies in the United States. Midland, they report in January, then February, then March, then April. And let's say in April you disputed it, right? And you got it online and you got it removed. Oh, we've removed it. Well, when they do it in May, again, when they report in May, it's going to come right back because you gave up the rights to that permanent deletion. When you do it in writing, you haven't done that. So nothing's actionable if you've done that. I don't know the situation. Like I said, I'd love to take a peep at your credit report with you. But if you've done that, you gave up those rights. You can kind of reset things by starting to do it in writing after that, okay? They have to maintain your legal rights. And a new course of investigations and things like that is a new course of investigations. So if they think they're going to give you electronic results after you sent them a paper letter, because once you accepted electronic results, you give them a call the second you get that and go, hey, buddies, this was not digital. I've given up no rights. Flex on them. All right, so investigation. Did that help, Sasana? I hope so. Let me know if it helps in the comment section. All right, so we've done investigation letters. We've done 609 letters. I'm going to show you this one just because everyone always asks about it. I keep inquiry letters as a separate letter. One reason being, remember I said you don't want to put more than 10 things on a letter. You might have 11 inquiries, or you might have 5 inquiries and 6 accounts. What's more important, those inquiries or those accounts? The answer is those accounts. So you'll do a separate inquiry letter. Here's wrong one. My bad. I'm sorry. Party foul. Technical difficulty. Inquiries letter. That's more like it, guys. All right. So we're going to put that screen up. This is just a basic inquiry letter. Don't put the title, unless you really want to. Yes, but I still want to chat with you this week. Absolutely. I'll tell you, yeah, definitely chat with me. If you have, by the way, let me just throw up a shameless plug. If you would like a no obligation consultation with me, Coach Jeremy, to find out about what I do for a living, find out about Credit Life, see if the Credit Life program might be good for you. By the way, all these things I'm teaching you, I do for you professionally. And so I always put it like this. If you like the stuff I give away free, you ought to see what I charge for. All right. So if you'd like to book, though, schedule a no obligation, no cost consultation with me. During the consultation, it's a phone call. During the consultation, we'll talk about your credit. We'll talk about your goals, and we'll put together a plan and steps and action items to get your score and profile in position for all your goals. And then if any of the Credit Life services are right for you, I'll go over what they are. If it sounds like something you want to do, rock and roll, let's get you enrolled. If not, oftentimes I send you on your way with good advice. But you're never going to know unless you set up that consultation. So if you click on the link that's scrolling below, www.bookcoachjeremy, JEREMY.com. Bookcoachjeremy.com. Bookcoachjeremy.com. You can pick a day, an evening, or even a weekend for your no cost, no obligation consultation, but you can't do this weekend because this weekend my daughter is getting married. So I got to do that. So literally tomorrow morning, I'm in travel. All right. So let me turn off my scroll. If everyone got that, bookcoachjeremy.com. All right. So back to the inquiries letter. Okay. So you're going to put the date. You're going to put your name, your address, the credit bureau name, Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion, their address, city, state, and zip. And you're going to say request to remove unauthorized credit inquiry. Okay, what inquiries are you going to try to get removed? You are going to try to get removed any inquiries that don't correspond with an open account. If you applied at Capital One and they did an inquiry and you got a Capital One card, you're not going to go back and dispute that inquiry, because guess what? Oftentimes, Capital One will close your brand new account on you. Yeah, because you're saying essentially, I didn't do this. So any inquiries you don't recognize, any inquiries that are not connected to an open account on your credit are going to be the inquiries that you are asking about. So you say, request to remove unauthorized credit inquiry. Dear Equifax or Experian or TransUnion, I recently received a copy of my Equifax or Experian or TransUnion credit report, and I noticed there's an unauthorized credit inquiry made by insert name of creditor or creditors. Sears, Kmart. Let's see what else is out of business. Anyway, it could be all other kinds of companies. It could be Credit One. It could be some auto company, whatever. Unauthorized credit inquiry made by boop, 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 boop. I do not recall authorizing this credit inquiry, and I understand you shouldn't be allowed to put an inquiry on my file unless I have authorized it. I am requesting you investigate an investigation into, and then you put the list of inquiries or whatever. Don't go more than 10. You'll be tagged as frivolous. Investigation into their names, inquiry to determine who requested it. If you find I was not the one who authorized this inquiry, I ask that it be removed immediately. Please be so kind as to forward me documentation that you have the unauthorized inquiry removed. If you find that I'm in error, then send me proof of that. So they'd like literally have to send you your signature on an application for credit. They're not going to get that. Thank you in advance. Your signature. You're going to sign this. Social Security number and date of birth. You're going to attach to this letter, just like you did the investigation one, a copy of your driver's license or state ID, a copy of your Social Security card, or the front page of last year's taxes, because it's a federal form that's got your social on it, and a copy of a utility bill or a bank statement or a cell phone bill, cable bill, voided check showing your current address. You're going to put them into an envelope and you're going to mail them with a stamp to Equifax, to Experian, to TransUnion. Obviously, you're not going to write one letter that says the same things and send it to all three if all three don't have the same things on it. These are going to be custom. That is an inquiries letter. Now, I want to show y'all something. I want to show everybody. Now, that's three of the most common letters. And those are the three letters that will get you started on a credit repair. But I want to show y'all something, okay? There is a tool out there that was created by a bunch of geniuses. Those geniuses are people at Credit Life. It is called the Dispute Wizard. The Dispute Wizard, okay? This is artificial intelligence guided credit repair. Again, this is AI guided credit repair. Now, but Jeremy, you said don't do it online, don't do it online, don't do it online. This creates the letter via AI online, writes the entire letter, it analyzes your credit report, it does it all, and then it makes three little buttons, one for Equifax, one for Experian, one for TransUnion, for you to print your letter to each, fold it up, and put it in the mail. It's got a countdown timer. It takes care of everything. You can go on, here, let me put this, you can go on FCRA dot thedisputewizard.com, FCRA dot thedisputewizard.com. You can do it right now, and create a free profile. You don't have to open the credit monitoring there to access the free profile. If you go in there and you click not right now, it'll let you get to some letter templates for free. What I highly recommend, here's what it looks like. I strongly recommend, if you're not a credit professional, but you don't necessarily have the money to hire one right now, and you want this done right, the Dispute Wizard, I'm going to put a scroll at the bottom so it's not blocking anything. The Dispute Wizard, if you use it, it includes 3 bureau monthly credit monitoring for $39.99 a month. So you got the tool. Basically, you're buying the monitoring and you get the tool for free. So this is what FCRA.thedisputewizard.com looks like. It's got a neat video. That's Brian Del Toro. So he's our COO at Credit Life. But what you can do is you can actually make a profile in here, and I'm going to show you what it does. You can make the profile without paying anything, okay? Just to see if you like some of the info that they give. And when you make your profile, it'll give you access to some free letter templates. Let me see if I can get those for you to see. Here we go. You will have access. You will have access for free just by checking it out. So before you paid anything, you will gain access to credit bureau dispute letter template, creditor dispute, collection validation request, collection stop contact, identity theft guide, lawsuit guide, goodwill letter, personal info letter. By the way, there was a question about addresses, home addresses. You would use a personal info letter there. Or missing credit bureau. Maybe you're not showing up on one of them. It tells you what to do. Now that's good. It's good to have templates, but what it's better to have is actually the dispute wizard itself, because for not much more than just the price of regular credit monitoring, for $39.99 a month, you get that. This sounds almost, this may put us out of business. And if that's the case, that's the case. At the end of the day, you don't get all the coaching. Obviously, that's why we're not going anywhere, because you don't get me, the most attractive FICO certified credit coach you're ever going to see. But right now, if you're looking for a DIY, you go there, you make your account. Let's say you pay the money, you pay the $39.99 a month. It's going to give you my800credit.com. It's going to give you a 3-bureau credit report, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, every single month, updated every month without a negative hit, without that negative inquiry. And it's a super easy read. It's got all 27 aspects that you'd investigate there. It's got all the things you need in there. But the dispute wizard is going to scrub through and look at all the data on your credit report. Okay, it's going to look at all the data on your credit report. It's going to determine what needs to be investigated. The AI is going to create the letters. I mean, it's freaking crazy. And then you're literally going to press print, print, and print. And it's going to remind you when the next ones are due, and it's going to remind you all that. So I'm going to show you some screenshots from it because it's sick. This is state-of-the-art stuff. Like, no one was talking about AI on this level before December. That's how new this all is. So let me show this to you. So if you do decide to do the dispute wizard and go all in, $39.99 a month, it gives you, this is what a homepage looks like. You got home, credit items, dispute letters, my history, tutorials. It'll give you a history of what's positive, repaired, deleted, disputing, your credit monitoring, if it's active, what your scores are, and all that stuff. And with one click, it creates you all the dispute letters that you need. Okay, we're going to go on to this next screen. This is how the dispute wizard breaks everything down. It tells you what's going on with all of your accounts, and then you can expand them, and it gives you the analysis. It then tracks your rounds. This person who had this, they've only had one round completed right now. It's completed, and they haven't updated their new month. It tracks, going back even before you started the credit monitoring, it tracks the trend of your credit scores. So they've had their first round, so things hasn't been updated yet. There are quick start videos, introduction, getting started, your dashboard, creating the dispute letters, results and follow-ups. You don't have to know how to do any of this. You don't have to write it. You don't have to know the language. You don't have to worry about the timing and stuff. And then there's videos. Welcome to your credit coaching. Rules and strategies. There's coaching in here, videos. Your credit report tells a story, formula for achieving great credit. Here's why you have so many scores, credit card, all this stuff. You get all this stuff. It's $39.99 a month. You stay with it just for as long as you find it valuable. It's at fcra.thedisputewizard.com. fcra.thedisputewizard.com. Okay, these are the things I promised I'd talk to you about. So we went over and I showed you what to write on an investigation letter. Went over and showed you what to do on a direct validation letter, direct to creditor. Went through and showed you how to do an inquiry letter, because everyone, I don't know, those are sexy. Everyone gets excited about inquiries. And then I showed you how to utilize that dispute, FCRA.thedisputewizard.com. FCRA, Fair Credit Reporting Act, right? FCRA.thedisputewizard.com. It's artificial intelligence guided do it yourself credit repair, including 3 bureau credit monitoring. So no additional cost is $39.99 a month. Those are options. And then there's the final option. If you want a professional, arguably, and I don't know how modest I should be. I'm, if not the top in the business, I'm in the small handful of 5 or so in the industry. I've been in credit banking for 28 years. We are an A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau credit service organization that's been in business for a decade. We've helped tens of thousands of people just like you get their scores and profiles in position to qualify for homes, cars, jobs, investment properties, business credit, and everything they're looking for. If you would like to do a no cost, no obligation credit consultation call with me directly, not just one of the team, but with Jeremy, you go to www.bookcoachjeremy, Jeremy, bookcoachjeremy.com. You can pick a day, an evening, even a weekend. We'll set aside that time. You're going right into my calendar. You're blocking the time that works for you. It's not me telling you when I have available. If you see a spot and you like it, it's there, you take it. We're going to go and we're going to talk about what's on your credit. We'll talk about your goals, your why you want to do this. I always say every time I do my job right, a kid gets a backyard to play in. I got 7 kids. So for me, kids are always a priority. We'll talk about your why. Why is this important to you? What are you trying to achieve? Then we'll put together a plan, steps, action items, things that'll get your credit score and your credit profile in position for your goals. But not just that. We want to get you to a position of financial wellness. If it's debt reduction strategies, budgeting, if it's debt settlement techniques, whatever we need to do, we'll talk about that. Then if I've got services at Credit Life that are appropriate, we have a range of services that range in price. I mean, you saw the Dispute Wizards, $40 including the credit monitoring. We got some inexpensive stuff that's very powerful, and it goes all the way up to our high end, the high end VIP stuff with the mortgage readiness focus and things like that. Whatever you want to talk about, if there are services that are good, I'll tell you about them, and you can pick or choose at that point in time. But there is no obligation. Go to www.bookcoachjeremy.com, pick a day, evening, or weekend. We'll do a consultation call. Don't put it off. Stop procrastinating. But Jeremy, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll sign up tomorrow. I'll give a call tomorrow. No, you won't. No, you won't. Do it now. But Jeremy, it's 2 a.m. Check it out now. You know if you work or not. You know when you're up. You know when you're not. Book that consult. www.bookcoachjeremy.com. Let me hop back into chat, see if there's any other things. All right. So this is, I think, a good time to wrap up. This has been a 45-minute. Wow, I'm amazed that y'all stuck with me. It's been a 45-minute video. Hopefully you find this valuable. So last week, we talked about the investigation process kind of top to bottom. This week, we talked about letters. Next week, I'm going to talk about credit development, what we can do to maximize our FICO score potential, raise our maximum FICO score, our point score, how to maximize our credit card point potential, our installment point potential. We'll talk about all that next Wednesday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific. If you have not joined the free credit repair advice group on Facebook, it's the free credit repair advice group battling the credit bureau since 2016. Join it. There's 72,000 of us in here. I'd love you to join. It's absolutely free, and it's a private group. Your friends and family will not know that you're in it, so you can talk candidly and openly in a safe environment for that. If you're watching me somewhere you can give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a comment. If you're watching where you can follow or subscribe, do that, and I'll see you all next Wednesday night. Again, I'm Jeremy Deysach, FICO certified credit life coach. Thanks a lot. Have an awesome evening. Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, interested to see how this works out? This is Jeremy Deysach. I am the creator of the free credit repair advice group. I'm also FICO certified credit coach with the Credit Life Credit Improvement Program. For those of you just tuning in, it is Thanksgiving weekend we're going into. Looks like we got one person tuning in right now. It's Thanksgiving weekend here that we're coming into. It looks like Tiffany is on board here. John is watching. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So like I said, yeah, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and like many of you, I am traveling right now. I am probably about 75 miles to the east of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I've stopped off to do tonight's Facebook Live. Okay, we're going to try to watch this simultaneously. I'm kind of dual boxing here on a pair of cell phones here. So I want to let this fill up a little bit. Again, I thank you for tuning in. This is our Q&A that we do live, our Credit TV and Free Credit Repair Advice Group questions and answers period that we do live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Now, after this is done, if you've missed it, if you want to come back and see some more or watch it again, you'll be able to go onto our YouTube channel, Credit TV, CREDI TV. That's Credit TV on YouTube. We do have a Credit TV group on Facebook page as well. And obviously, you can watch it here in the Free Credit Repair Advice group. But as for tonight, we are going to be talking about inquiries and how inquiries affect, thanks Tiffany, how inquiries affect our credit score and our credit profile when we're doing credit restoration. Can everyone hear me okay? That's one thing I want to check in on the audio. I'm sitting here in a minivan, sent the kids into McDonald's to go get something to munch on with the wife. So we're just doing this right now. So just making sure audio is a thing. Hopefully that's looking good. Casey says yes. Okay. So what we want to talk about tonight is the impact that inquiries have on your credit report. This is a question we get a lot in the group. We get a lot of people saying, hey, I'm worried about my inquiries. I've got a lot of inquiries on my credit. This is what I want to take care of. How do I delete these inquiries? How do I handle all these inquiries on my credit report? Now, here's the thing about inquiries, okay? In the FICO algorithm itself, the mathematical formula that creates your FICO score, think of it as a pie chart. This pie chart, the FICO algorithm, it's made up of 5 primary areas. 35% of your score is made up of payment history. It's the history of repayment on lent money. Basically, it's an evaluation of how likely you are then going forward based on your past history to repay in a timely fashion on monies that are lent to you. 30% wedge in the FICO algorithm is made up of balance to limit ratios, so utilization on revolving credit. That's credit cards, lines of credit, things you can charge up, pay down, and use again. A total of 15% in the FICO algorithm, 15% of your credit score is made up of time, of history. That's the one thing we definitely can't impact directly. It is time. You can do things sooner rather than later. But the length of credit history is responsible for 15% of your FICO score. 10% of your FICO score is the blend of accounts. Do you have revolving accounts open, installment accounts, student loans, mortgages, car loans, credit cards from banks, retail lines of credit, and so forth? One type is good, 2 types is better. Multiple types show that you are capable and can demonstrate a history of repayment on a number of different types of lines of credit. And then that final 10% slot, we've covered 90% of your FICO algorithm. That final 10% is made up of recent activity and inquiries. So people come to me all the time and they go, what do I do about inquiries? And they come to the group and they say, hey group, what do we do about these credit inquiries on our credit report? We know we have a lot of them. We know they're impacting us, okay? Credit inquiries, the thing to keep in mind about credit inquiries, you may have heard that a credit inquiry impacts your credit score, and it's true. Every FICO inquiry, every lending inquiry, every time you're trying to get more credit, more car loan, more house loan, more credit card, more cell phone, more inquiries for more stuff. Every time they pull your credit for that, it's going to cost you between 5 and 15 points off of your FICO score, off of your credit score, okay? That's per inquiry, and that's per bureau. Now, those inquiries, they're going to appear on your credit score for a full 2 years. 24 months. Pardon me, on your credit report. I misspoke. They'll appear on your credit report for a full 2 years. But those inquiries will only impact your credit score for 12 months. So the most recent 12 months. So 5 to 15 points per inquiry off your score for 12 months. So out of the gate alone, you come into the group and you say, oh my gosh, Jeremy, how do I get rid of all these inquiries? I've got a lot of inquiries. I think it's tanking my score. I think that's what's hurting me. What do I do about these things? How do I get rid of them? We only need to worry about the last 12 months inquiries, and quite frankly, a month from now we only need to worry about the last 11 months. You see what I'm saying? So this is it's a running concern. Time will erode how much impact these have. Inquiries are not as bad as you thought. Now I'm going to teach you something else about inquiries. There are types of inquiries that you are allowed to have a shopping window for. A shopping window. There's a fancy name. It's called anti-duo duping. But think of it as a shopping window. Now you, me, all of us, we're allowed unlimited mortgage inquiries or unlimited automotive car dealership inquiries or unlimited student loan inquiries. We're allowed unlimited inquiries of any of those three types. They don't blend together. It's student loan or car or mortgage. Unlimited inquiries within a 30-day calendar period. Okay? You have a 30-day shopping window in which to make your inquiries. At the end of that, a timer starts. At the end of that 30-day window, a timer starts. The timer is 15 days long. 15 days after the end of the 30-day shopping window, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian will consider them one inquiry, and one inquiry. So 5 to 15 points against your FICO score. So why is that important? The reason that's important is it allows you to shop for the best deal on a home mortgage. The reason it's important is because you go to Happy Friendly Chevrolet or Happy Friendly Ford dealership. You talk to the finance manager and they shotgun your credit out to 30 different lenders and get responses. They're trying to get you the best deal. Well, they also got you 30 inquiries and it looks terrible. It does, and it affects your score. Years ago, that shotgunning was a negative. That shotgunning was actually a dirty trick that they could use to keep you from going across the street and qualifying for a car across the road because they tanked your score. Now, we fast forward to today, anti-duo duping, that shopping window. You are allowed a 30-day window in which to shop, which means go ahead and get unlimited inquiries on those automotive inquiries. Go ahead and shop, get the best deal, because 15 days following the end of that 30-day period, you will be counted as one inquiry on Equifax, one on Experian, and one on TransUnion, okay? So, inquiries, they're 5 to 15 points each. Inquiries, they stay on our credit report visibly for 2 years. Inquiry, they impact our score for 12 months for 1 year. Inquiries. We do have a shopping window when it comes to automotive or mortgage or student loan. And thanks to anti-duo duping, thanks to that shopping window, 15 days following the end of that 30-day period, it'll only count as one, and one. One Equifax, one TransUnion, one Experian inquiry. Now, these inquiries I'm talking about are what are known as hard inquiries, where they're pulling your FICO score, your more score. You want more house, more car, more money, more this, more that. Those are hard inquiries. You may have heard the term soft inquiries. A soft inquiry would be a marketing inquiry, the type of inquiry a credit card company does when they're going to pre-approve you for a credit card. They pull a marketing inquiry to see if you fall within a range of people that they'd like to have come apply for credit cards, and they send off an offer to you. That inquiry doesn't affect your score. Another kind of soft inquiry is the soft inquiry that you'll get if you pull up Identity IQ, if you pull up your free annual credit, if you pull up your Privacy Guard credit report. Anytime you're looking at your own credit, even Credit Karma counts into this. That's a soft inquiry. You get no damage for looking at your own credit information, okay? So soft inquiries are marketing inquiries. Soft inquiries are pre-approval type of inquiries. Soft inquiries are when you're looking at your own credit. Hard inquiries, those are your more score. You're applying for credit. You're applying for a cell phone, or you're applying for cable TV and they pull your credit up. Now, some people will misuse the phrase soft inquiry when they're talking about, we only pull from one of the three bureaus. It's a soft inquiry. No, it's not. I want you to think this. I want you to think and err on the side of paranoia, err on the side of caution to protect your credit score that you're working so hard to develop. And every one of you have taken that first step. You're here in the group. You've made a huge, huge commitment to yourself, to your life, and to your future by doing this. So I want you to almost get paranoid. Anytime someone's taking your social security number, that they are going to do a hard inquiry. If you err on the side of caution, it's not going to hurt you if you err on that side, but it'll only help you. Okay, so 5 to 15 points per inquiry. They only impact you for a year. They stay on your credit for 2 years. You have a shopping window of 30 days where you can do unlimited automotive, student loan, or mortgage inquiries. And at the end of the day, in the FICO algorithm, in the mathematical formula that I am certified in, that builds your credit score, your more score, it's only 10% of the total score. So the big takeaway from this should really be this for you. While inquiries are extremely visible and they may feel important, and while it is a way you could very quickly hurt your score if you go out and apply too many places, people give far too much emphasis and far too much focus to the inquiries themselves, because at the end of the day, we're talking about something that only impacts you for 12 months. At the end of the day, we're talking about something that's only a 10% impact in the FICO algorithm. And I want you to think about it. Your blend of accounts is 10%. So you could offset your inquiries by opening up a different type of account than you had before. Maybe you don't have an installment account. Maybe it's time to open a self-lender. That's now available in New York. So for those of you who don't have it, now it's an option for you. So you open up that, you've offset that 10% just like that. Or maybe you don't have a retail card open up that Finger Hut Fresh Start account through that My 800 credit, that safe link we put in the group. Boom, you've offset that 10%. It's that easy to deal with. I'm going to take some questions here. I want to keep this kind of quick. I've got a lot of driving yet tonight, going down to the cabin for Thanksgiving. But let's get into the group. Let's get into some group questions. People say I'm loud and clear. That's great. Robin says, they're preventing me from obtaining credit. That's one of the main reasons for denial for me, and that's what I'm told in the letter. Okay, when you apply for credit, most credit reporting companies, factual data, things like that, that the banks are going to use, they will spit out 3 to 4 reasons to deny you. Whether you're getting approved or denied by the bank, they'll spit out 3 or 4 reasons to deny you, because they don't want to say, we don't like you because you're this old, or we don't like you because, you know, they want to give you lots of reasons. One of the more common reasons they'll put is inquiries. I've been an underwriter. Inquiries are never the actual reason you're being declined. They're not. They're not the actual reason. There's something else they're not comfortable with in the file, but it's really easy to say you have 16 inquiries. There they are. Very few sets of underwriting guidelines will actually do that. Let's see, what else do we have? Scott, 30 days. Yep, the window. People are saying too many inquiries. That's super, super common. And I'll talk to you in just a second about what can be done with that. I've been denied because of too many inquiries. I need TransUnion off. Same day, get denied. That's huge. We'll talk about that a little bit more here. Chris Barker says, what about insurance? My insurance does inquiries. They do. There's a couple types of credit that your insurance may pull. There's an internal insurance credit score that they may pull that actually works out as a soft inquiry, so no negative hits your credit. But some insurance companies, when you're shopping, will pull a FICO score, and that is a hard inquiry. You can ask them going in if they know which type it is. What I'll tell you is just avoid shotgunning your own information out there. Insurance is not a protected inquiry. It's not like a car loan. It's not like a student loan. It's not like a mortgage. So yes, insurance inquiries can drop your credit. So can utility inquiries, cell phone inquiries, and cable and internet and dish can also drop that. Let's see. Just taking a look. Too many inquiries. I need to rest my voice. I sound like, yeah, Danielle, I'm getting over a lung issue that I've been having. Thanks for the notice. Scott Moran, welcome. A fellow professional of ours in the industry. Scott is in the room tonight. Good to see you. Inquiries hurt those with lower scores more than those that have high scores. That's absolutely true. If you're a couple points away from qualifying for a mortgage, let's say you need a 640 credit score. You've got a 642, and you're going to close on your house, and you're very excited, and you run out to Best Buy, and you're gonna apply for the Best Buy card so you can get some new, maybe some, a new TV for the house or a new refrigerator for the kitchen, and that 5 to 15 points that you drop, that can kick you out of qualifying for your house. Back when I was in the mortgage industry, I saw that so often. It's a very scary thing. So while inquiries are not a be-all, end-all, they are a way that you can sop up points quickly. You got to think about it. How much is that 10% off your $300 purchase at JCPenney really worth to you? $30. Is an inquiry off your credit? Is $5 to $15, 5 to 15 points off your credit? Is that worth $30 to you? If it is, go for it. If it's not, don't. Now, when you do finally close on that house and you go to Best Buy and you're going to get $10,000 worth of stainless steel appliances to redo the kitchen, 10% off, $1,000, yeah, you can buy some credit repair for $1,000. You can take some time and do it yourself. You can pay for some postage, whatever you have to do. So it's economies of scale. You've got to pick and choose when you want to spend your points. Your points are like a currency that you work very hard through showing the ability and willingness to repay money to develop. Robin, I do have a lot of inquiries from the dealership. That's good in that they are from a dealership. They're for automotive. If they're within a 30-day period of time, they'll fall under anti-duo duping, and they'll really only count as one per each. Do you offer classes, Chastity? Yes, for a credit repair business startup. It's really interesting. I've been asked this a lot lately. We are putting something together to get people Credit Life certified. Just keep your ear to the ground. It's going to be a little while. We've got a lot of irons in the fire. It won't be till after the holidays, but we've got some exciting things coming out in the spring here to do with FICO education, to do with certifications, and to do with getting people certified in the vision that we've got with Credit Life, which is a holistic, whole life financial program, a whole life, basically knowing that your credit doesn't operate in a vacuum. Your budget's part of it, your income's part of it, your debt load is part of it, your health, your everything. It all factors in together. Kimberly Hardy, how do you open a fresh start? I've applied and keep getting denied. Never had Fingerhut. Okay, couple things with Fingerhut. Fingerhut's going to require a 500 or higher credit score. Fingerhut, they have two types of cards. One is the Advantage and one is the Fresh Start. Fresh Start is very cool. Fresh Start starts out as an installment loan and converts, once you've paid it down a little bit, into a revolving. So you get the best of both worlds in that. You want to make sure you're applying for the Fresh Start. It makes a difference. Tiffany and any of my other moderators, I think Danielle's on, if you guys could post that My 800 credit link, you can get directly to the Fresh Start there. You want to make sure you have been applying for Fresh Start and not Advantage. The one thing, if you're in an active bankruptcy, that also often will keep you out of Fresh Start. Those are the only two reasons, or actually, well, the third reason is screwing over Fingerhut. So if you've screwed over Fingerhut, if you're in a bankruptcy or if you're under a 500 score, that'll oftentimes disqualify you for Fresh Start. Otherwise, you basically have to be able to fog a mirror, have a pulse, and they'll give you an okay for that. So if you go through that My 800 credit link, it's a vetted link. We know it's safe. We know it's not a phishing link, and it should get you there. So hopefully they'll put that there. Chris Farrow, hey, if I'm trying to obtain a mortgage by July, should I open a Fingerhut account or a self-lender account? Honestly, I'd say go ahead right now and do both. Self-lender will not give you an inquiry, so there's not going to be a hard inquiry. So you get the advantage of building an account and showing a history of repayment on lent money, tucking a little money away for a rainy day, because that's how self-lender works, without taking that hit, that 5 to 15 point hit. So definitely go for the self-lender. If you're lacking in revolving accounts, Chris Farrow, definitely then go for the Fingerhut. Kimberly Hardy, fix your credit first. Slow steps. It is baby steps. You guys didn't get in the credit trouble overnight. You're not going to get out of it overnight. This is a marathon. This isn't a sprint, which is good because I'm a fat guy, so I probably wouldn't do too well in a sprint. Try to build up the profile. Profile is just as important as score, if not more. Bo, driving down here to San Antonio, man, I wish I'd be on 35 for that, man. We got to hit that up. We got to hit some Rudy's and get some good brisket. Carlito said, if I disputed something on my TransUnion and Equifax, if it was removed off my report, but it's on Experian and I dispute it, also if I feel the other two would fall off Experian once I dispute it. I'll tell you what. Here's the thing, Carlito, with investigating. Every bureau has its own benchmarks. Every bureau, TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian will have their litmus test for what they consider validation, verification. If it's gone from one, odds are a hell of a lot better it's going to be gone from the others, but it doesn't necessarily mean it'll happen. It may take additional investigations. You may have to investigate other aspects of the account. There are 27 different aspects you can investigate. You can investigate things like the date of last activity. You can investigate and ask a question about balances or the date things were opened. So do not falter if one will take it off and one won't. It just means you haven't struck on that nerve. You haven't found that thing that they're having trouble verifying and validating and investigating. So yeah, keep up the good work, Carlito. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Definitely investigate that. I am going to touch on what we can do about inquiries that are on our report already, so stay with us. Kimberly says, I signed up for Collection Shield 360. They deleted a few, but they just reappeared on my report last month. Boy, Russell, one of our moderators, will give you the best first-hand testimonial about Credit Shield 360, but they've been getting some people sued. It's nasty. They dispute by saying it's not mine. They tell people to cease and desist. It's really not a good thing. If you are looking to investigate things, try to get things deleted and get them deleted permanently, please check out the files section at the top of the group here. If you're on a computer, file section is up here on the upper left side. If you're on a mobile device, you'll be able to do a drop down and the file section should be in there, but we've got some sample letter templates that you can use, but I'd run screaming from Collection Shield 360. Let's see what else we have. Thank you, Tiffany, for posting the My 800. Chris Barker says, just wanted to say I include having found Credit Life in what I'm thankful for. You know what? I include having you here in what I'm thankful for. This group, I wouldn't do this, and our moderators and our coaches wouldn't do this if we didn't get a lot out of it personally, as far as just a good feeling of helping other people and things like that. Remember, this is not the business. Free credit repair advice is not Credit Life. Free credit repair advice is something that we do in our free time for no pay. We do this to help people because we know that these opportunities to get this good information aren't out there. Not everyone can afford to hire a professional. Not everyone needs a professional. But everyone needs good, solid advice that they can count on. Chris, we are thankful to have you. Percy asks, what's self-lender? It's a great question, Percy. Self-lender is an account. Think of it like this. It's a savings account. It's like a forced savings account that gives you credit for making installment payments into your saving to tuck money away. It gives you credit for that on your credit report. It actually counts as installment payments towards a bank obligation. So you make these monthly installment payments until you fully funded the obligation you made for yourself at the bank through Self-Lender. It's Bank of Austin, and you can find links to Self-Lender right here in the group. Otherwise, Tiffany can probably put one up for you. She's usually got those things at her fingertips. But the thank you that you get for tucking money away for yourself responsibly for a rainy day is a higher credit score and a rounded out credit profile. It's a bucket of cool. This is a great time of year to open one because you do something around 12 months, you tuck it away for next year, tuck $1,000 away, you're ready for Christmas time or the holidays next year. It's a lot of fun. Adriana says, my car payments show late. It's a funny thing. December of last year shows in good standing, but January and so on is 150 days late. Any thoughts? Yeah, not all companies report every month. They don't have to. They're not required to. So you can end up with some really goofy things. That type of scenario where suddenly it shows up 150 days late out of the blue like that, that's a good indicator that if you send verification, validation, investigation letters, as you'll find up in the files section, the templates, or up here if you're on mobile, that's a good indicator that they may have trouble verifying and validating. So that's a lead that I use as a professional to take a look and go, hey, we may have some negatives that can be deleted. Yes, sir, need a link for self-lender? Percy, Tiffany put it right below you. Always on point. Okay, so what do we do if we've got, what do we do if we have inquiries on our credit report? Okay, that's the next question. Well, inquiries, like any other credit report item, are at the same mercy as any other account of having to be able to verify, to validate, and document that they're accurate, factual, correct, current, and verifiable today, not back when they happened, but today. They're at the same mercy of any other account. So you have the legal right to investigate them. You've got the legal right to say, prove it or remove it. Not to go Johnny Cochran on you, but prove it or remove it. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit, prove it or remove it. Now, the credit bureaus are going to send you back a letter saying that inquiries are a factually accurate record of the inquiry having taken place. And if you got beef with it, take it up with the original creditor. You'll want to follow that up with another lender saying no, or another letter to the bureau saying, no, bite me. You've got a legal responsibility under the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, to verify and validate upon demand. I'm making such demand. If you fail to comply, I demand you delete it. That's your best way to get some of them gone. That being said, some are going to go away. Some aren't. It's the game. If you want to try to get more of them gone, you send another letter. It's the game. It's how it works. I wish I had a magic button you could press. There was a weird little scenario, though. If you search the group, if you go over to the left-hand side and you see there's a little magnifying glass, a little Sherlock Holmes look at the magnifying glass, allows you to search the group. If you put in TransUnion trick, you'll see something that I put together last year to exploit a screw up TransUnion did. TransUnion accidentally deleted everybody's inquiry records, then added them back on without giving the proper legal notification. You got to go through it step by step. I'm talking, you ask for an American, you do everything that I tell you to do, and you'll have some luck. You can ask Danielle, one of the mods, you can ask some of these other folks in here. They've had some amazing results getting some of those deleted. It's a little cheat sheet. It's a little short step. It's a little, I seldom will offer up a trick, but that is a trick that works. And that's something that I developed. I'll take my full ego credit for that one. That's 100% Jeremy. And if you read it somewhere else, it's still 100% Jeremy. So there you have that. Let's take a look, see what else we got going on really quick. I'm going to try to keep this kind of short, kind of sweet. That's why I just did inquiries tonight, because it's Thanksgiving. Got a bunch of turkey to eat tomorrow. Got some relatives to see. And I got 2 toddlers who I guarantee you are terrorizing the McDonald's behind me. And I got a wife who's a freaking saint, because not only does she put up with me, which those of you who know me is quite the task, but she's wrangling 2 toddlers. All right, how long do late mortgage payments stay on credit report? As long as anything stays on a credit report. Stuff will stay on credit reports negatively 7 years, up to 7 years, 180 days. So they'll stay on there for a while. So what do we do about something like that? We send a validation letter. Now, it's going to have more of an impact there, Sandy Daniels, in the last 24 months than it will as it gets older and older. So the further you get away, it's like anything, the further you get away from a negative activity, a negative happening, you heal. Your credit report's the same way. The further it gets away from a negative thing, it heals. Every day gets a little bit easier. Every day gets a little better. When it comes to credit, every day your score gets a little bit better. Susan says, hey, I didn't miss you. Well, totally. Hey, don't worry, Susan. I'm going to hit save at the end of this, and we're going to save this to the group, and then I'll upload this to Credit TV on YouTube. And for those of you, if you have not followed our channel on YouTube, Credit TV, this is where we put all of our live videos. This is where we put all of our videos we make for you. You can see me and Jared Havens, the CEO of the company, eating hot peppers because it's a bad idea. You can see advice on how to make your credit machine from Chaz Earthram. You can see me basically trolling a Ukrainian grant scammer. There's all kinds of good stuff. Follow us on Credit TV. It's going to be a growing and growing and growing portfolio of credit videos, credit education for you. Sandy, you're awesome. Thanks. Hey, thank you for being here, you guys. I look well, thanks, Susan. Trying to feel better. Robin, do you guys get inquiries removed while we're in the program? We can work on it. Honestly, that is think of inquiries as what flavor frosting do you want on your cake? I want to bake your cake first. So for that, we're going to work on two things. It's elimination of unverifiable derogatories and negatives, and it's building. It's building. It's building. I want you to run screaming from anyone who tells you that repairing your credit is simply deleting things, because that's only part of it. Your history is only 35%. That leaves us 65% of other stuff to work on. Credit development, rounded out profile, balance to limit ratios on revolving accounts, and things like that. So while we offer things like a credit audit to take a look, there's a reason we offer coaching professionally when we work on it. There's a reason I tell you guys in this group, I tell you every day, develop your credit, get your balance to limit ratios in check, and things like that. But can we work on them? Yes. The ones we'll work on, honestly, I'm only going to work on something that's 6 to 12 months old, because as we're doing this, some of them are going to drop off anyway. And if you're in the Credit Life Credit Improvement Program and have a coach, I, as a coach, and I think all the other coaches will tell their clients, no unauthorized credit inquiries. Translation: we're working hard to get these points. Let's not throw them away like candy at a parade. Or if we're going to piss our points away, at least have some fun doing it. Let's not just waste them. Hopefully, I think we're getting up to the end of wrapping up. I know my wife has been amazingly tolerant in running off with the kids and stuff like that. And I think I probably owe her a nice wine or something of that sort. Everybody, I want to take this time to tell you all, we're very thankful of you. Us at Credit Life are thankful of you. I, Jeremy Deysach, founder of this group, am thankful to have you. We are right now a couple people away from 30,000 people in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, free credit repair advice. If you ever figured out why we named it FCRA, that's why. We're a few people away from 30,000 people in this group. This is an amazing group made up of amazing people. Everyone's got the same amazing vision of improving lives, of changing lives, of getting in position where you can qualify for homes, you can qualify for things. I tell everybody every time they ask me, why do I do what I do? Every time I do my job right, a kid gets a backyard to play in. And I don't say that to sell things to people. I don't say that to try to get people to sign up for something. I say it because it's the truth. For Credit TV, for Credit Life, for the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, and for myself, Jeremy Deysach, I thank you all. I wish you a blessed Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye now.
If you can hear me all right, if you can see me all right, we were on a little bit before, but it sounded like the audio wasn't happening. But I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the Daily Credit Report Live here in the Free Credit Repair Advice Group. Now, this is a live broadcast that we do each and every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, I'd like to welcome you all. We're going to let the room fill up just a bit. Everyone, let me know how the audio is. I guess we had some audio issues before, but every single night, you're going to be able to see Daily Credit Report on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time. This is all sponsored by Credit Life Financial Wellness. Credit Life, credit service organization, work in credit repair, credit development. Basically, long story short, Credit Life exists to help get you to your goals and to really change lives. Now, while the room is filling up here a little bit, I'm going to do a personal plug. If you'd like to have me as your FICO certified credit coach, remember you should always look for FICO certification when you're picking a credit company, when you're picking a coach. Always ask your coach, hey, are you FICO certified? The answer should be yes. But if you'd like to have me as your FICO certified credit coach, just go to www.bookcoachjd.com, and you can pick a day, an evening, a weekend for a consultation. And there's no cost for the initial consult. The consult is to see if you're a fit. It's to talk to you about your goals, talk about your credit, and put together a plan and steps and action items that can be put into place to get your score and profile in position to qualify for your goals. So if you'd like to have me, FICO certified credit life coach, founder of the Free Credit Repair Advice Group, as your personal coach, go to www.bookcoachjd.com. All right, so I want to thank you for joining us tonight for the Daily Credit Report Live. So tonight's topic, I based it off of a lot of the talk in the Free Credit Repair Advice Group. A lot of people have been asking questions about the letters, investigation letters, about follow-up letters, about how am I supposed to send this, why, about the investigation process, and all of that. So tonight, we're going to talk about trying to delete negative information off of your credit report. Yes, it can be done. How many rounds? Perfect. All right. Francesco, do me a favor because I know you're paying attention. Let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure my audio is 100% because we started out and apparently I was miming for a little bit of it. But again, we're going to talk about how to delete negative information off your credit report. We're going to talk about letters, letter structure, why it works, and how it takes more than one round. We're going to talk about how it works when it comes to the laws, why it works, the actual process involved, the letters, what they mean, and what structure they should have. You can hear me? Awesome. I'm loud. My guess was some of you could probably hear me before the microphone was even working from wherever you're located. But first thing I want to dive into, okay, so people take a look at their credit. Now, we all know that credit's not just made of bad. It can feel like it sometimes when we look at it and we see a lot of derogatory items, but we know that good things make up our credit as well. And it's important to do development, but at the core of credit repair is actually repairing the report itself. It's how to eliminate these negative items. So I want to go into this a little bit with you. So if you are trying to delete negative information off of your credit report, the very first thing you really need to know is, how does this work? Can I just call them up and say, hey, would you please delete this? And they go, sure, we love you. You're awesome. You're a big fat bald guy in a blue shirt. We'll take all that off for you, right? No, that's not how it works. Okay. The reason credit repair and credit service organizations, and you guys doing the investigations and all of that, the reason it works to begin with is because there are some laws on the books, okay? Now, I'm going to back us up to the basics here, and this is a talk I haven't done for quite a while, so I would recommend you guys settle in. If you know anyone who could benefit from this one, this is probably going to be valuable for you. So we've got 3 credit bureaus out there, okay? Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, these are companies, private companies. They are called bureaus, like the Federal Bureau of Investigations is called a bureau, but they're no more official than Nike, Reebok, and Converse. It's just literally Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion is 3 large companies. Now, these are for-profit companies. They are mercenaries. They are not missionaries. And one thing to remember when you're dealing with these is you are not the customer. You are the commodity. You are what they're buying and selling it. Well, not you physically. They're not going, hey, you want to buy a big fat bald guy in a blue shirt with glasses? And they go, yes, I'd love one of them. Please sell me Jeremy. That's not how that works, okay? But what they're doing is they're buying and they're selling data, information. So these 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, they keep the info on me and you, LaDonna, I see you, all of you out there. Okay? They keep the information on 350 million people. All right? That's a lot of people. They keep the info on 350 million people. They get that information on average from 20 different sources per person per month. So that's 20 times 350 million persons times 3 bureaus. That's like 1 billion pieces of data. No, that's far more than that. Billions of pieces of data. Close to 20 billion, actually, each and every month, okay? If they wanted, if they were compelled to, if they were made to verify even 1% of that information they get each month, the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, they'd need 1 million employees. A credit report would cost you 50 grand. It's not reasonable. It's not feasible. It's not possible to verify all that data coming in, okay? It's not possible. But here's the deal. It has to operate that way because the banks need a way to determine if you are a good person to lend money to or not. They would need to be able to figure out how likely is it you'll default if we lend you $30,000 for a car. So these credit the credit reports, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, those bureaus, they're necessary. So the problem we run into is when LaDonna or Jess, when Michelle or Derek, Francesco, or even Jeremy, when we go out to apply for a car or apply for a credit card, where do they go to check us out? They go to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data, the credit bureaus. Remember, not a lick of it, not one bit of that data is verified or validated. They simply publish whatever they're paid to publish. And that wouldn't be important if credit wasn't used for anything. But credit's used for everything these days. And it's not just getting that car. It's not just getting the credit card. It's not just getting a house. They're using it for background checks for jobs. They're using it for security clearance. They're using it to determine if you can get an apartment, right? Or all kinds of things. They even use it to help determine your insurance rates in some states. So where do they go to check you out? Where do they go to say, is LaDonna any good? Is Jess any good? Michelle any good? Is Derek any good? Francesca, are you any good? They go to the world's largest repository of unverified, unvalidated data to make major life decisions about you. And that isn't fair. It's not fair to be judged on unverified info. And we get that. But the problem is 350 million people times 3 different bureaus times 20 different sources per month per person. So there's a middle ground there. Now, Congress passed a law, okay? They passed a law called the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The FCRA, it allows us to do a bunch of stuff. It allows you as a consumer to do a bunch of stuff. But in an oversimplified way, the main thing it lets us do is it lets us go to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, those bureaus that are keeping all this unverified data, and say, hey guys, with all due respect, prove it. Prove it. Prove it's mine. Prove it's real. Prove it's true. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. And if you cannot verify and validate and document that every single thing on the credit report is 100% accurate and factual and current and correct and verifiable today, not back when it was repeated, but today, okay? If they can't verify, validate, and document that it's all accurate, factual, current, correct, verifiable today, then by law, it's permanently deleted, gone, like it never happened from the credit profile. Now, it doesn't mean the debt's gone. If you owe someone $1, you still owe them $1. But what it means is their ability to report to the world's largest repository of unverified data, that goes away. And that's very, very powerful, okay? Because that could be what's holding you back from a good rate on the car, like Vanessa's talking about. That could be what's holding you back from getting a home. That could be what is stopping you from getting that job you want, okay? So that's the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FCRA. And that law is what allows investigation to seek deletion of negative information on your credit report, okay? So essentially, if they can't prove it, they have to remove it. If they can't prove it, they have to remove it. So that's how it works. Now, why it works is really the process that's involved in it, okay? So you'll hear us in the free credit repair advice group, or those of you who've been wise enough to reach out and get yourself a FICO certified credit coach. Those of you who are smart enough to do that, not just hire any Joe Blow, but get someone who's FICO certified, you'll have heard that we want to do investigations. We want to do investigations. Maybe you heard about rounds, how many rounds it's going to take. You hear about the letters, how many letters. Here's the thing. The method of investigating with the bureaus, there is a right way to do it, and there's a few wrong ways to do it. The wrong way to do it is electronically. If you go on Credit Karma or MyFICO, or as I call it, MyFACO, because those aren't your real scores. They're not your lending scores. So you go on MyFICO, or you go on Experian app, or any of those other substandard credit monitoring sites. Or even if you go directly to TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, if you do online disputes with them, online investigations, you actually give up a number of your consumer protections and a number of your consumer rights. One of the main ones basically boils down to this. You do it online. You do an online dispute, and they delete an item. You got it deleted. You think you're king cock of the walk because you got something deleted from your credit profile. Bad news for you. The very next time that creditor, same credit company, same collection company, same people, the very next time that creditor reports to the bureaus, that's going to show back up because you've done it electronically. You gave up your rights to have that sucker permanently gone. That's the primary reason, that and a few other consumer protections, they're the primary reason we tell you to do this in writing. You want to use old school, snail mail, paper letters to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Think about this. You're trying to paper trail this, right? So if you're trying to paper trail something, it makes a lot of sense for you to use paper. It's that simple. We're trying to paper trail this. We're trying to get good documentation. Doing it in writing like that, you do not give up any of your consumer rights. So here's the process. The process is you go and you get a copy of your credit report from somewhere like smartcreditvip.com. smartcreditvip.com. You can get a smart credit monitoring. It's $22 a month from there. It's a very intensive 3-bureau report with all the details that you need to do effective ongoing rounds of investigation. Okay. So you've got your credit report and you're going to go through, and I'm old school. I love to print it and take a highlighter and highlight everything that's negative, everything derogatory, everything that's bad, all the things that are costing us points, right? So you're going to go through and you're going to identify all the things. All right. Those are the items, those negatives, those late payments, those charge-offs, those collections, those are the items that are going to be subject to investigation. Those are what you're going to write about in your letters to Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, you're going to go after all of the negative accounts all at the same time. There's no law stopping you. You've got a goal, and you're not going to get there if you drag your feet. And if you're anything like me, I'm not a terribly patient fella. I don't see why any of you should be, especially if you're not even a fella. Right? So you make these letters, you type them up. You may have heard people say, oh, handwrite it, do it in colors, because they won't be able to scan. That's all B as in B, S as in S, okay? Type them up. You want it clear, you want it concise, you want it easy to read. You're going to mail these things off. Now, you notice I didn't say get them notarized, because that's nonsense and unnecessary. You're going to mail these letters off to Equifax, to Experian, and TransUnion. In the process here, the way you mail them is by putting them in an envelope, addressing them, and putting on a stamp. Well, shouldn't I send it certified to get a return receipt? No, because most post office boxes have difficulty writing their names because they're not people, they're post office boxes. So no one's going to be signing for that in that post office box. So professionally, what we do is we put a stamp on the envelope. I recommend you do the same. Now, if you do want to spend a ton of extra money just for no reason and like you would send it certified, I recommend do the stamp anyway and then send the extra money to Credit Life, care of Jeremy, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And I will gladly take your money. If you feel like really just pissing it away. But no, realistically, though, you want to do this in writing. Old school snail mail paper letters. That's the process. You mail it off to the bureaus. Now, the bureaus receive your investigation letters, okay? So when they get these, the credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, legally have 5 business days to notify all of the creditors in question that they must provide verification, validation, and documentation that everything that's on there is 100% accurate and factual, current and correct and verifiable today, not back when they reported it, but today. Now, the creditors themselves, it could be Capital One, it could be Midland Collection Company, it could be whomever. The creditors themselves receive these demands from the bureaus, and they legally have 30 calendar days to respond not to you, but to the bureaus, because it's the bureaus who asks them. You ask the bureaus, The bureaus ask the creditors. So they've got 30 calendar days to respond back to the bureaus with all the verification, validation, documentation that it's accurate, factual, current, correct, verifiable today. Now, if they fail to reply in 30 days or less, if they fail to reply